Hi, friends. Hope y'all are doing well. This is March the 7th, 2025, and we're going to talk about the day I almost crashed my plane. It was Cessna brand, Cessna 150, and I had been taking flying lessons at Bowman Field, Kentucky, and I had been doing pretty good. We spent so much of the time doing what's called touch and goes. That's learning how to gently go down and come back up again. The first day, my instructor took the keys out of the Cessna and threw them in the back seat. Well, I didn't have a back seat, it was a two-seater. Just threw it in the back and said, "What are you going to do now?" Well, I was up in the air, of course. And the question is, what do you do when he turns off the motor and takes the keys and basically throws them where I can't get them? Let me get some Coke here. Well, how would you feel on your first training session if you were high in the sky, your instructor's in the next seat? Now he can control the steering wheel, or it's not really a steering wheel, but the wheels to control the plane. So he's got the same ability I do to do what needs to be done, but he wanted me to do it. What am I going to do now that the engine's off and I'm stalling out? I said, "I don't know." He said, look over there on the right. What do you see?" I said, "Well, there's a farm over there. There's a lot of land that he's going to plant corn or soybeans or something on." He said, "Well, rather than to crash, what do you think about gliding this plane down and landing on that grass?" Now, what would you think if this was your first session? You don't know how to land it on the ground. You've only done touch and goes off from the Bowman Field. Well, it's not dirt that you're doing touch and goes on. It's concrete. So I think a little bit, and he says, "Well, I'll help you out here." And we were down about 2/3. We had another third to go, and we were either going to crash or something from where we were. We were coming down. Had no keys, had no motor going. Well, he knew where the keys were, so he reached back and got the keys. And then he put the keys in the place where he started it up and gets that motor going again, and he says, "What you doing? We're gonna pull it up. We're gonna pull it all up from here." But the learning session is look for a flat piece of land and realize how long we have glided since I threw the keys back there. Look how long we have been up in the air. See, you got plenty of time to find a place to land. In fact, I knew a guy personally that this happened to, except his engine stopped and he had to land it on the Waterson Expressway in Louisville, and cars had to clear the way and let him land, and then he was able to get it off the expressway into the center and go from there. So we pull the handles up there, and it goes back up again. Okay. This is in the second lesson, but the second problem during the lesson is the following, and it was the last time I flew. I was up in the air, and we're doing good. I'm getting ready to solo. That means you're going to do it without an instructor. You have to take a test too, a written test. It's not a fun test to study for, but I did buy the study material to finally get the license. It's costing a little bit more than I wanted to per lesson. So this is what happened during my last flight, and I never got into another Cessna or any plane to fly. We're flying and doing quite well, and it was always around the Louisville area, so Jeffersonville, Indiana, or Louisville, Kentucky. So we're flying around, and all of a sudden we're up in the air, and all of a sudden the engine stalls out, and we start dropping. Now, I'm using words here that aren't exactly right. What happened is we hit a vacuum. We hit a airspace that was just empty. And the Cessna plane's small, two-seater. We didn't have enough thrust to go past that vacuum where there didn't seem to be any air. We couldn't lift it. We couldn't pull it up. We couldn't move it to the right or to the left. It was just in a vacuum. And it starts slowly drifting down. Thank goodness we were fairly high up in the air. And I found it quite interesting that the engine was on, but the plane wasn't moving. Not the direction we wanted. It was moving down into a crash situation. I said, Have you ever had this happen to my trainer? He said, I never have, but it's not such a bad way to go as far as dying. You'll never know it. You'll never know that you're dead. You tell me if that's comforting from your trainer. He had the same controls I had because it was a training Cessna. They all were. And finally, before we get to the concrete, we picked up an airstream. And I remember putting that sucker back in gear and going up, just like I was taking off, just like a touch and go, except I wasn't taking off from the concrete, thank goodness. We hadn't hit the concrete. I hit enough of the airstream to go forward and lift the plane. And if you don't think that's scary, what do you think about your instructor saying, well, if we die, it's not going to hurt much. It's not going to be a bad way to go. Well, I never did. I never did go back into an airplane to fly. Cost was one problem, but this was daggone dangerous. And he had never had it before. And he would take flights out where he would take groups of people to different states and everything that would pay him. And of course, they wouldn't be using a Cessna of that size. They'd be using a large plane. But he would regularly get paid to fly a group of people out and fly them back and all that. Stanford Field is the largest one next to us. It was like Bowman Field. You could land a commercial plane on it, but it was mostly for training. Now on the Stanford Field, it was for commercial, but if need be, you could land a small plane on it, depending on circumstances. Let's just put it that way. But it's pretty well known that we stuck to ours if we're small. The big guy stuck to Stanford Field, and that worked out perfect. But I never did go back. That's the end of the story. I just wanted to let you know this could happen. It did happen. And I appreciate you taking 15 minutes to listen to me tell this couple stories here. And if you like it, feel free to put thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, feel free to hit the subscription button, and we will talk soon again. You take care, and God bless you.